Okay, it's 6:05. Let's start then. Venkat, are you up for it? Let's start.
Yes.
Okay. So welcome everyone. Good evening, everyone. I'm not sure if it's good evening for everyone. Probably for people from Stockholm, it could be afternoon. So greetings probably rather than good evening. Greetings everyone. Welcome to the Try Business Agility webcast, the art and science of AI. Venkat is going to share a few insights about the art and science of AI. And let me take the privilege to introduce what try business agility is, and then I'll go on to give it to Venkat as well after introducing Venkat, by the way, right? So who is try business agility? We are a mission based organization. Our mission is to discover, preserve, and distribute knowledge and capabilities to enable the next generation of organizations to be capable and resilient, right? So try business agility is the one of the affiliation of tryScrum. From tryScrum, we are a PT network of Scrum.org, Scrum Alliance, and as well IC Agile as well, right? So most of us might have met us in the RSG. We hosted RSG as well, right? I see a few people from who attended RSG as well. So hello everyone, to see you all again. And so how are we going to keep the organizations capable and resilient? So we're going to do through executive education that builds organization capability. Some of the programs that we have listed here are already live. Some of the things that are already live are AI and digital transformation strategies. We've run about 3 programs. We got some good feedback. Same with design thinking professional as well. And business strategy and leadership, it's an equivalent of Cal 2, so which Venkat teaches as well. And we have also launched certified product discovery mastery as well. So we are in the process of launching few other programs in the coming months as well. So that's a brief about us. If you want more details, know about these programs, you can very well uh, visit the website www.trybusinessagility.com. Right. So that's a brief about the Try Business Agility. And now coming to Venkat, most of you all might know Venkat, but I'll try to take this opportunity to formally introduce Venkat. Venkat has 2 decades of experience working as a started as a software developer and then now into enterprise agile coaching. Now his Venkat's interests have shifted towards academics and then going into research. So myself and Venkat, we together co-researched, and then we published article as well, and then the name of this was adappreneurship as well. So we'll try to share those details in the chat at the last, so that you get to know, and the paper is live as well. We can get to know about that as well. And he recently, Venkat, enrolled himself into not recently, probably 3 years back, he himself enrolled into the leadership education with PhD. He's a PhD scholar, by the way. And then from Girne American University, he recently enrolled into a DBA program with PPA, Paris. Right. So that's a brief about his background. I don't want to take much time. I'll give it to Venkat to kickstart the session, Venkat.
Okay, thanks. I'll go and share my screen. If you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah, I've done that. Over to you.
Okay, just a second. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for the introduction and thank you for.
Sorry to interrupt, Venkat. We are not seeing the full screen thing that you're sharing.
But I am actually sharing the full screen. What about now?
No, still the same screen.
You're not seeing the full screen.
As in, we are seeing you. It's not a presentation mode. You're just showing the.
No. I have actually shared the presentation mode, which is why I'm wondering why it is not coming up yet. Okay, just give me a sec. I'm sharing the presentation mode.
Okay, now you can do the sharing then.
And
Can you
then
give
I'm just
play?
getting into I'm actually getting into the presentation mode now.
You did play. We saw that, but it is not showing that screen.
Okay, I got it. I got what the problem is. I'm going to come out of the big screen and then it should work now. Is it working now?
It's still the same. Let's go on then. Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't understand why. I hope it should work now.
Unfortunately, no, but we'll go on. Go on.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
Which screen are you seeing now? You're talking about I'm
I'm
talking
seeing the
about the why
executive
now.
education. No, you
No,
have to move on.
so
Yeah.
I've already moved on. I don't know why it is not moving. So I'm very comfortable with Zoom, and this is one thing I'm really not comfortable. Would you mind sharing the screen sharing for me?
I'll do that better.
Okay. Because I have moved the slides. I'm not sure why is it not moving.
Yep.
Okay, great. So the topic is going to be the art and science of AI. So I wanted to keep it very light and short so that it's going to be jargon free. I don't want to talk about machine learning, what is AI, deep learning, and all that stuff because people are either obsessed with those terms or people are already got fatigue about those terms. So we will try to talk something interesting. But before we get into the discussion, we should know why we are talking about the art and science part of AI. Any any discipline you take AI and or robotic automation, be it quantum computing, everything will meet an inflection point, which means we are more as well as we are less. That's the point we are in with respect to AI. As per the global survey that at least 70% of the intelligent population already started using Gen AI weekly. When I talk about intelligent population, I'm talking about 1 billion. So 70% of intelligent population is already using Gen AI. And enterprises, especially the enterprises in the range of 1,000 to 10,000 employees, they have already started seeing year on year increase in enterprise spending, which means the cash flow is going out crazily spending a lot of investments with respect to AI, including some of the reports from MIT is fascinating. And productivity gains, I would say it is a little bit biased, but many companies that are implementing AI started seeing that, yes, we are seeing twice the work of the time. So they are seeing 2 times much productive than what they're supposed to be when they started using AI. So this is a good point for us to come back or come together as human beings and discuss what is that the art and science we are talking about. Next slide, please. Okay. We will talk about two lenses. One is the art and one is the science. Can people on this call quickly try to define me what is art and what is science in your opinion?
Probably you can use the chat, everyone.
Please don't get biased with the examples that I've given you on the slide. Just try to put it in a layman term. What do you understand by the art and what do you mean by the science? Yes,
Okay,
art is the creator part. Good.
I'll stop the screening for a while. Yeah.
Science knowing what it is, art knowing how to use it. Art experience heavy, logic heavy. Okay. Science is about the tools. Maybe I'll wait for one more response and we move on.
Yep.
Art is the creative part. Yes. So when you talk about art, it is human beings owned part, which means it's your creativity, imagination, to some extent, aspiration and novelty. These are the stuff that I'm going to call it as art. You can call it dreams if you want to. And if you talk about the science, it's more of an engineering because the name itself says is science, more of optimizing. We call it local optimizing. We take the engineering solutions, we try to implement the how part heavily, and we also wanted to accelerate outcomes. We are also trying to do a lot of math in it. So science cannot stand on its own unless you bring in the math, right? And AI is really, really, really good at the right hand side. But we are all going to discuss, at least in this call, in one or two instances. Next slide. Can AI be really creative? That's the question that I would want to ask you. Or can AI become creative?
Put in your thoughts in the chat. Can AI become creative? It can with some caveats, is what Rajeshri says.
I think its creativity could be as good as the one who directs it. Okay. Hallucinating.
Negatively creative.
If it's trained well. Maybe a couple of responses and then I go on.
Sure.
Yes, if it's trained well. Okay. AI is creative, but after saturation, again, it has to be trained from human being. It enhances creativity. Okay, good. I'm not going to answer this question until the end of the slide because if I do answer, you're going to just run away, right? We will see some examples and finally you're going to answer me this question, can AI become creative? Next slide, please. Let's go and understand a little bit of research. And I'm going to use the work of Robert from the Journal of Creativity. And I'm also bringing in the MIT and the Wharton Schools research. I'm trying to amalgamate these. And I'm going to give you a synthesis of what I'm talking about, the art and science part of AI. Look at the left-hand side picture, just a couple of birds, and also the right-hand side picture. The person named John Gold, who actually drafted the left-hand side picture and gave it to the world. And this is how we are going to do the artistic work. I'm talking about the creative work. So there is a lot of homogeneity and the monotonous pattern in the way how people are actually creating arts. You would have seen in museums, if you go and look at any art, we all relate the art with the object, correct? If I ask you to look at any artistic templates, you would quickly relate the picture with any of the objects that is observable by you. Is anybody differing from that? Any artistic portfolio, if I ask you to look at and name it, quickly you would look into the objects that you are familiar with and you would name that. Yes? No? Okay. I take it yes. What about the right hand side? So Thayer, who extended the research of John, and Thayer is not just an artist. Thayer is a researcher who is a biologist, artist, and also a very good teacher. He has done a number of masters in France. He is also a biologist. He developed his passion towards artists and all. Surprisingly, he has done a very good research in the 19th century itself. So the research was why the hunters in the forest wasn't able to spot any animals easily that they are trying to hunt. So this is what he got to know. He wanted to really test why the hunters are roaming around for many times and they were not able to hunt the animal easily. And this is what he found. There are two reasons. One is the predator has learned how to hide itself from the prey, and the prey also learned how to hide itself from the predators because the prey would want to really escape from the predators. So they learn from each other. This is how we got to hide ourselves. And that is really helping with the hunters. And anybody who's seeing animals, we all seen the animals in maybe zoos, artistic albums, exhibitions, or maybe some of us in the forest, if we had gone for the forest ride, very rarely we were able to spot animals in their own environments. So this is what Thayer actually concluded, that people are, when he portrayed a lot of albums and he tried to put into the display on the right hand side, because he broke the monotonous and stereotyped way of bringing drawings to the world. He stopped doing what John Gold passed on to the generation and he drew something different. He tried to draw a lot of animals in the forest from the environments and he tried to put it into the exhibition. Look what happened. Many people walked into the exhibition because all the artistic work that he has done is in from the fields, from the environments where he camouflaged all these animals. So people come to the artistic, the portfolios, and they thought this is a waste of time. There is nothing. There is a tree, there is full of grass, and they walked away. Why do you think this happened? Why people walked into the exhibition and they found this is unusual drawing. We couldn't figure out anything from this, and they walked away. Yeah, because of the camouflage, because that is what you would get from the real environments of animals. They did not see any structured portraits, yes, and it's a very good example. They did not see a structured portrait. That is your tagging. Rohini, that is what I'm going to call it tagging, because we all used to see animals the way that is drawn in the left hand side. We never used to see animals from the fields or environment. So there is a bias or the tagging that human beings are adding to their creativity. And why would a biologist gone into the artistic work and did research in the art and then concluded that people are actually getting into the tagging the moment they see the picture? This is exactly going to happen with the AI if AI part is going to miss the creative imagination that people can bring in. Let me explain you what does it mean. What do I mean by that? So the image that you're seeing is, I'm going to give you the rescue. How can we escape from this cognitive bias or a cognitive stereotypical way of thinking that is going to block the creativity? Look at the AI way of looking at things. AI learns from human beings based on the neural networks that we are going to design. I'm not going to go into the technicalities, but look at this as a neural network. You got a set of inputs, which is the stereotypical inputs, and there is a hidden layer, the algorithms and other stuff is going to work, and the output is going to be the results that you're going to see in the AI. Imagine if people are going to feed the pattern, which is the same pattern of inputs, the algorithm is going to process and it's going to create a same pattern of output. If you are going to mimic the same pattern, you're not going to come up with anything novel, how much ever AI that you use. That's exactly happening in the fields of AI and implementation. AI cannot be novel. AI needs novelty only from the human beings. How can we do that? A couple of people from Wharton tried to do this research on how do we teach AI the novelty. Some people told me in the beginning that we got to train AI. Exactly, I'm telling you how to train that. But at the end, I'm going to ask you, is it good enough? Can AI be creative? Once again, that question. So look at the neural network. Human beings are going to be the judge, going to stop in the first trial. In the second trial, they are going to tell the AI, some connections you got to make stronger and some connections are weak, you got to unlearn it. I'm sure some of you in this call in Agile, we used to say unlearning and relearning. Unlearning is going to be a difficult part because the algorithms cannot unlearn the way that we are actually going and approaching human beings to say unlearn it. Human beings itself is going to be difficult because it's going to be a resistance. But in terms of AI, the beauty is it's not going to be the resistance. It's going to be the model and the algorithm that has been designed the way it has been taught. If you go and say that the AI should unlearn a few things, it's going to either create hallucination or it is going to create something. It's still under the research. That is like unexplainable AI. Why it has done something, it is not able to say why. So AI does not know what it does not know. This is the point that we all have to understand here. Still, can we make some neural network connections, disconnections, untagging in the AI? Yes, there are some neural replications that human will have to do that when you're going to reinforce, these are the strong connections and these are the weak connections. Eventually, the expectation is after the recursive iterations. In the AI term, it is called as recursive variance. After a few recursive variants, there is a probability that the weaker links are going to get deleted from the system and the stronger links are going to get even more stronger. This is the foundation of how a human judgment and the human intervention is going to be there to help AI learn and unlearn, basically the tagging and untagging, to learn a little bit of creativity. I'm going to call what it as like normal creativity. So the term for that is called normal science. If you want to explore normal science, you can explore after this webcast. This is very, very important. Let's see why. Next slide. Let's look at the another discovery. So again, if I go and show these three diagrams to the AI, can you guys tell me if AI is going to consider all these three diagrams are same or similar or different? Quickly. Let's go with the human judgment. Imagine the AI is trained well. AI knows things. AI has been intervened. Human intervention is there. We can do whatever the assumptions we want. Similar, but not same. Okay. Same. Different.
Camouflage.
Yeah, you don't have to consider camouflage in this diagram, but I'm going to go and reveal this. If you see, this painting is called non-representational painting. Again, the extension of the Journal of Creativity Research that we have been talking about. If you give this to different models, I'm going to tell you that many models are going to come up with inconsistent answers. Because if I go and ask a different human being, you see the human beings now. Some people are saying same, some people are saying different. What made us say that this is same or different? If I go and write one or an alphabet A, everybody is going to say it's one or A. But if I go and present these different diagrams, either some of us saying same, similar, different in a small group, in a small sample, we are getting too many different variations. That's exactly going to happen because AI cannot yet, I will not say forever, AI cannot yet recognize non-representational paintings. When I say non-representational artistic works, you don't see any objects. You don't have any standard symbols that you're seeing here. You are seeing just a bunch of colors. So according to the models, as per the latest model, including the transmitters that we have been talking about, to those models, this is just a color and shape, nothing else. But to the human beings, depending on your backgrounds, we are going to say different perspectives on this. Some people might say it's Rangoli. Some people might say it's a symbol of happiness. Some people might say it's an art from China that I've seen some kind of Chinese doing these kind of arts, etc. So the takeaway as of now is there is a sweet spot that lies between the extreme art and the extreme science, two big polarities. The moment you push too much of polarities, that is, the too much of creativity to the AI, most likely the AI system is going to get confused. And the results are going to be super inconsistent. The only option that we can make AI think creatively is to tag and untagging. So the tagging and untagging are the recent terminologies that we have been hearing in the AI age. That is tagging like, think like if you want to unlearn something, it's untagging with respect to AI. If you want to learn something, it's tagging. So we all learn something through neural connections. We look at the dog consistently, perhaps for a few times, and then somebody would have told us this is a dog. But we all learn dogs from different backgrounds. Somebody who might have not seen the Labrador or somebody who might have not seen the pit bull probably ask a question, is this really a dog? I have not seen a gigantic dog like this. So the creativity that we are talking here, the polarities that we are talking here is going to be super extreme. And unless AI systems are going to be good at tagging and untagging, removing the bias that we have been talking about, creativity is going to be a difficult job for AI. And when you talk about creativity, we define creativity in the beginning of the webcast, that is imagination, maybe perhaps dreams in some context, innovation, new ideas. So most of the companies or most of the AI implementations, when you talk about innovation, the problem statement is defined and we are all looking for solution. Am I right? When you look at the innovation as an example, everybody thinks, at least in my opinion, the majority that I spoke to, when I say innovation, people think innovative solutions. Nobody thinks about innovative problems. That's exactly going to happen. So AI is going to do a lot of local optimization with respect to the problem solving. It's going to focus on more of a solution. But what we are trying to talk in the art part of the AI is the problem statement itself will have to be novel. If the problem statement is not going to be novel, then irrespective of what models that you're going to use, it's not going to be as good as human beings with respect to creativity. So how do I include creativity in the process? Let's see a few examples. Can you go to the next slide? Okay. So I'm going to call, this is a work from tryBusinessAgility. I'm going to call this as a creativity funnel. Let's say you are a product manager or a scrum master or an agile coach or some other roles. We are going to pick two examples. So it all starts with the human loop. I'm going to call this as artistic loop, and it ends with a science loop, and it has to be recursively trained in order to continue with this momentum. So everything starts with a human being. The human is going to define novel ideas with a context, and only the human beings know that whether it is a novel idea or it's a normal science. I talked about normal science a few minutes before. So human starts with a novel idea or a novel problem statement, and then the AI is going to optimize that statement to solutions, which means the solution part is going to be owned by AI, which I call local optimization. The novelty part is going to be with human being, which I call as global optimization. So unless you combine the novelty along with the local optimization, you're not going to get the funnel outside, which means if you get through the funnel and you're going to come out of the funnel, which means you have solved a problem which nobody else solved. If you're going to get into the funnel, but it takes a lot of time to come out of the funnel, it means that you have a novel problem, but you have not been able to optimize the solution with respect to AI. I know it might take a bit of time to understand what I'm saying, but since we are talking about the creativity part of AI, it's going to be a bit difficult. So let's see some examples. Can you go to the next slide, if you don't mind, Arun, the product? Yeah. So let's see the art and science of product management. So if you see the dual track development, I am sure many people know that I'm getting a notification that the meeting might be end. Is it true that I should ignore?
No, it's just Murali. It's just note taker, not
Okay.
ours.
Okay. So if you look at the duality of product management, so one side you keep doing a discovery, and other side you keep doing the delivery part. I'm going to call the discovery part as the intuitive part, which is the art. It defines the right problem. And how are we going to refine recursively the solution as the science part? So the problem discovery and sense making is going to be more of an artistic part. So anytime that you're going to use AI for the creative work, leverage personas, personality, and behavior as an art part to explain AI, what is that it has to do with respect to the science. So unless you use some of the emotions, context, and needs of user, AI cannot understand that what we are looking for is some kind of a creativity from AI, which is a normal creativity and normal science. I keep repeating this term is because of a reason. And the science part is going to be a straightforward. It is going to translate your intuition into the testable hypothesis. For example, you have a great novel idea and it can give you a bunch of hypotheses, and it can give you a retagging insights into the metrics and models, how you are going to measure the outcomes. But when you do this, when you go back to the creativity cycle that I have explained to you, innovation always begins with ambiguity, the artistic frame that we referred to, and stabilizes through structure. And how are we going to stabilize through the structure? You build a model and you make the connections weak recursively so that any product that you're trying to scale using your dual track development, you're going to make the links weaker and stronger as a recursive variance. So when I say weaker and stronger, imagine you have a product development process, which is iterative. Every product development process, at the end, you do a sprint review. You need to feed something into the AI system, what type of links that it has to make stronger and what type of links that it has to make weaker for the AI to be novel enough to be able to survive. Can you go to the next? I'm not sure what is next, but I got to see. So let's take a quick example of two recommended system here. One is the content-based recommendation and collaborative-based recommendation. I'm sure most of you would have known what is content-based and collaborative-based, but I will quickly explain. Content-based is, if you look at the Pandora, for example, find other products with similar attributes. For example, if you have listened to a music, it's going to show some other music in the same genre based on number of parameters. Hey, you got to listen this romantic song. Here are the bunch of romantic songs that I'm going to give you with its same genre, same tune, same ragas. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not good at ragas, but I'm just giving you an example. That is called content-based recommendation system to the human beings. Collaborative filter is going to be a very, very science part. The collaborative filter is, hey, many users liked it. I want to show you that you should also like this, which means it's collaborative. It is super biased. Many users bought something, so I'm going to promote something that what other users liked. Sometimes it's biased because just because something is popular doesn't mean it's valuable. Bureaucracy is popular in companies. I let you judge, is bureaucracy really valuable, right? So if you look at these two recommendation system, the content-based recommendation is more of an art part. The collaborative filtering is more of a science part. As on today, the content-based recommending system is really struggling because it requires a lot of data, similarities, and huge amount of data is required for the AI, for the AI to perform better. But the collaborative filtering is quite straightforward. A couple of users recommended something, you also get that, you also get listed in one of your first pages that, okay, this was bought by so many people, would you like to buy that? So how can you improve this content-based recommendation system, bringing the novelty and do a dual track development with iterative recursive variants and keep giving the weak links and strong links to the AI to be able to improve this? Pandora is doing a very good job on that. You can look at the Pandora's engine. I think Nimon, I'm not very sure. This is exactly using the art and science part. Can you go to the next? So another example is, imagine you wanted to optimize the process. Take any process that you would like to optimize. So we have a process, 20 steps in our company where we realize value and we don't know where to go and optimize. There are two things that you would like to consider is over reliance on process and metrics leads to local optimization. So what AI can do with respect to the process optimization is it can do a local optimization of each step, but AI cannot decide what step to be eliminated and what novel practice can be brought in. The very good example is Netflix has moved away from local optimization to a global optimization using the art and science. Because so far, if you look at the Netflix ways of recommending system is totally science-packed data. So the problem with quantitative data is we all addicted to the data and the data is going to decide what we are going to do with respect to the human. There is no human customization or personalization. Even though we say data is one of the biggest gifts, we use data inside a metadata to just to do a recommendation system we talked about, collaborative recommendation system. So always you get to see the most biased or the most liked item as your favorite item. But I'm different. I'm human. I need a unique thing which nobody else had listened to. I don't get access to such data because the whole recommendation system is going to be on science. Only if you're able to feed art part of that into the recommendation system, like the way that we have seen Pandora is trying to do. Similarly, Netflix tuned this recommendation algorithm for watch time, missing the art of discovery. So they aren't able to discover, they say that, okay, these are the favorite shows, this is what you have watched, this is your genre and all that. But Netflix had to take a U-turn to go and do the art part on how can we bring novelty? How can we define a new novel problem with respect to the human emotions and human novelties so that the recommendation system is altogether a different thing now? I don't look at the Netflix as a single screen where I see only the data driven recommendations. I could see much more than, for example, looking at my tone, looking at my voice, looking at my expression. Netflix can do a better job in assessing my mood. That's an example of the art part that I'm talking about. Can you go to the next slide? Let's take one more example before we go on quickly wrap up and take some more questions. If you look at the discovery part, the product discovery part, many companies have been using or at least claiming to be using a product discovery part. They all fix the problem statement and they just go and explore multiple solution statements. So what exactly happening here is the product discovery part is struggling with less novelties and more of a science. For example, every company measure outcomes, every company measure the metrics, every company try to produce reports. But if you look at the reports that they produce, it's more on the science part. The best example that I can give you is one of the Indian companies, Zerodha. They began with empathy for traders by refining the UI until and unless they have realized that why many traders are not actually looking at the system and they're utilizing it. Late 2023 is when Zerodha discovered that we need to have a lot of empathy for traders. It's not that the science part of doing a lot of mechanism and showing the trading information is going to really work. By giving a novel user experience is going to give more efficiency and effectiveness with respect to the human beings. And in one spectrum, I can also say that the effectiveness is going to be more of your art part and the efficiency is going to stick with the science part. Can you go to the last adoption part? I would like to show them with the industries that is going to be. Yeah. So this, I wanted to go to the human. So in short, what I'm trying to say is the previous one, Arun, the human judgment, and then we'll come to this.
One sec, one sec.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I know that you're struggling with.
And now the teams.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
Zoom is much better.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, in short, in the spirit of time, I would like to also take a few questions. I cannot go on and on with this webcast, but the human judgment is going to be a major part. But we also have a challenge in the human judgment is the kind of knowledge that people are bringing in. So for example, in the same group, a short group, we had different opinions about whether the portfolio of artistic work that I've shown you is similar or same or different. We don't want such kind of inconsistencies in the way that we judge, especially if the AI is going to be used in healthcare, mission critical applications, maybe safety and regulations, governance. It's going to be a terrible mistake that we might be doing. So AI accelerates your ideas, but the reliability factor is something that the human will have to check. And what AI cannot give you is trust. Only the human beings can give you trust. So with experience, domain intuition, and ethics, human is going to be a big differentiator for this AI combination, where human is going to continuously make the AI system tagging and untagging different parameters that we are going to give. It could be anything with respect to the implementation. For example, I gave you an implementation with respect to the product discovery. I've also talked about the problem solution refinement, the novel problems that we are trying to refine and all that. Now, the quick example is, I don't know, how are we doing with the time, Arun?
We have about 15 minutes. I
Okay.
guess you have
So the
two
quick
minutes to do it.
example
Yeah.
is we used to say operate with center teams, that is the human-led AI accelerated teams. In some of the companies, if you see, for example, they have started AI studios, wherein the AI studio continuously explores with respect to the human creativity. And then, like a dual track development, the AI studio pass on the real novel problems to the execution, and then the AI local optimization accelerates it. So if you want to know the future of work, the way that we have seen Scrum studios, Agile studios, product discovery, product architecture platforms, we might be seeing some of the AI flavors like AI studios, AI platforms, especially the data engines, data repositories, are some of the way we can retain the creativity without monotonously or stereotypically going and doing the local optimization. So think of like how we evolved from database to platform today. The same way we might be evolving from some of the roles that we have been talking about. I foresee a data scientist, a data science auditors with the the data fragmented in different companies become a data repos that's going to continuously feed some information to the studios where the creativity is applied, creativity is blended before we go and do the local optimization. That's exactly I'm foreseeing as well. Can you go to the trends that we are talking about? So what are the trends we can expect? Um, where we see the near term return on investment. Let's say I am X, I'm Y, and what are the different fields that I could see the art and creativity, art and science coming together? Customer operations. So there is an illustrative figure that says the customer operations will have to be really creative. There is a lot of science in the customer operations, but only if companies are able to fine tune the creativity part, they are going to win. For example, if you go to Swiggy and Zomato today, it's terrible. There's a lot of science there, but the creativity is really missing. One example is the chatbot keeps talking to you without understanding the real mood of you and where are you standing now? What is the time zone now? How long have you been waiting? Quantifiable data is not the only solution as people keep talking about AI. AI starts with the data. To me, AI starts with creativity and then the data. If you put only the data to the table to the AI, it is going to do a very good science, but it is going to miss the whole art part. And then the marketing, the way we have been sold something, the way we have been seeing something is going to take a total paradigm shift in the coming years when we apply creativity to marketing. Then comes the engineering, finance, and HR. Why the HR and L&D is being the last part as on today is there is a ongoing survey that says that the HR and L&D part is still creative because they have been in touch with human beings. They have been talking to people, even though they say we will get back to you later. But they talk to the people directly rather than a bunch of robots saying that the human employees are onboarded. This is your joining date, and all that is not mechanized the way that the other fields are mechanized now. So the last part, the scaling part. Yeah. So we see the adoption playbook is move faster, stay safe, prove value early with an artistic part. So when we did a little bit of research on the policymakers across the AI adoption, we don't have as of now, we don't have a regulated body at least standardizing the AI implementation across the board. But we could see eventually the the way that we see the DevOps today. I'm sure many of you would have heard the ML ops. We're going to see the new kind of strategic shift from how we have moved from mainframes to APIs and platforms. we might see a trend of playbooks with respect to the more of an art part, because we are already at the inflection point I told you. So the art part of the AI is going to get started. So anybody uh, that is going to grab a lot of market share with respect to their skills, I foresee that they could do a wonderful job if they pick some of the artistic part that we have been talking about, and how they can place themselves into the artistic part, especially with respect to the imagination, helping the AI tag and untag. You could certainly explore all this, and the ML ops, the data scientist auditors, the data science creators, and the data repository cloning, all the stuff that's going to emerge as an artistic part to expedite not only the local optimization, but to expedite the system optimization. That is when we would see the AI that's going to be less biased, right? It's not going to reject the black faces it did in the past. It is not going to do harassments. It's not going to reject the resumes based on the rules engine. Perhaps it's not going to give you a bunch of repeated responses on the chatbot, only if the AI is going to fully leverage the artistic part that we have been talking about. I know it's a pinch that I've given you, maybe 1% and 2% of what the art and science of AI today. But I hope that helps. I would want to stop here so that I can accommodate a few questions in the 9 minutes.
Yeah, you can very well use the chat if you want to use it, or you can use the Q&A as well. Anything is fine. I'll try to moderate the questions, guys. Okay, Rajeshwari says, very interesting and a different perspective. Thanks for the information session, Venkat. So yeah, I hosted it, Rajeshwari anyways. Does sentimental analysis come under art of AI, Venkat?
Okay. So the problem with sentimental analysis is everybody focuses on labels. If a customer says is yes, it's good, the sentiment is good, and it's no, the sentiment is bad, and I'm okay, the sentiment is neutral, right? It is neither an art nor science completely. It's in between. So the problem is, what if the customer is sarcastic? If you're going if you're going and serving something cold, the customer says, "Thank you so much. It's superb. The soup has to be really cold like this." It's a sarcastic comment, right? But the AI is going to tell back the customer saying, in case the customer is actually dealing with the user interface, the AI is going to say, "That's great to know. Thank you. Lovely." It's going to add fuel to the fire of customer's emotion. So sentiment analysis can be an art part, but we got to go a long way to call it a real sentiment analysis. We are in the data inflection point. Everybody is trying to gather data and put some AI implementation at work, but it is actually not even 10% of art, the art that we are talking about.
Okay, so
I hope
I
I
hope that
answered the
answered your
question.
question. Yeah. You can very well reply back. And another question from Manivannan is that how to define and assess the readiness of AI of a process or a function or an organization? Would it be hybrid or plus science?
Okay. So to me, definitely it would be the first part I always recommend is to start with an art part, which means what problem we would like to solve. And is that novel enough to solve? Is this the right problem we got to solve? If we solve this problem, do we cover 70% of the customer? AI cannot say this. So we need experts, domain experts, subject matter expertise, people who are experienced with respect to the particular context. We'll have to do thorough analysis and define the problem statement, and then input that problem statement to the AI. And then that is going to give you a bunch of novel solution, perhaps if you fine tune your prompts. So crafting the prompt is very important before getting into the solution. So it all starts with AI when you do that. It all starts with art part, especially.
Okay. I hope that helps, Manivannan. Um, so there are few people who are typing. I'll wait for them. It's Karthaj. Okay, Karthaj, right? So I don't know if it's your full name. As we are talking about Gen AI, industry is already exploring agentic AI, ASI, and organoid AI. What is your take on this?
So see, it is like, let me pull a simple analogy, right? So your flight is cancelled and people are coming up and asking you, do you want coffee? Do you want have your breakfast? Would you like to have your lunch? Or can I get you some cold drink? This is what the agentic ASI, AGI, and the generative
I
agentic.
guess I guess he's talking about artificial general intelligence, AI, and artificial super intelligence. Okay,
Yes.
yes, yeah.
So anything, the general, the super, the agents going to make decisions. If you don't have the novel part always fine tuned, in my opinion, it's going to give you terrible decisions sometime. So the hope is the artificial super intelligence is going to be as good as human beings, but to fire a simple connection in the neuron that we spoke about, the neural networks, and then how you are going to feed that and remove that strong and weaker connection. If you look at the human beings, while as I speak, I could do that in 1/10 of milliseconds or 1/100th of milliseconds. But AI is going to take at least a few more years to do that. Even though we talk about AI is going to expedite things, AI can do a wonderful job on the science part. It can expedite things. It can give you a lot of things as a locally optimized engine, but it cannot globally optimize things. So any version of AI that keeps coming in, the art part is going to be a global perspective for these AIs. So there's no choice for any companies in the future.
Okay. In the interest of time, I'll take one more question, Venkat. So Rajeshri asks, when you talk of AI, are you talking of AI as an umbrella term of ML, machine learning, deep learning, or only Gen AI?
Okay, I'm talking about deep learning to some extent, but it depends on how people are going to come up with the terminology for the art part that I've been talking about, because the creativity part has just got explored. It's an exploratory part. Perhaps somebody might come up with a new term called exploratory AI. We don't know, or creative AIs. So the ML, AI, sorry, the ML and the deep learning and all that to me still is, at least in my view, is dealing with only the science. The art part of it that we spoke, the spectrum that we say, perhaps it can do a good job with a lot of intervention. So my worry is we can be exponential with AI, but the problem is if we are too exponential, we are missing the fundamentals. That is why we see that many AI implementation has failed. There is data that says that 75% to 80% it is improving productivity. At the same time, the whole purpose of doing that AI implementation is failing because nobody understood the art part of it. That's the best example that I can think of.
Okay, so I hope that helps. In the interest of time, I'm gonna stop the session here. So all your questions, we'll try to post this in a video format in our website and host it, and we'll have options to comment on it. You can very well use the comment option to ask your questions. We'll try to moderate the questions and then get the answers for you guys as well. Right, I hope that helps. Thank you for taking your time, Venkat, to put this across and then present it in this forum. And I also equally thank everyone who has joined on your busy schedule on a Thursday evening and then made this session literally valuable as well. So thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time. We look forward
Thank
to
you.
hosting you in another session. Thank you,
Thank you
Venkat. Yeah.
guys. Thank you so much for time and looking forward to seeing you.